A word you'll likely hear over and over in your college career is thesis. In fact, many of your professors are going to assume that you know what a thesis statement is, how to write one, and how to evolve it as you write and rewrite your papers. We're going to shoot from the hip here. Coming up with and evolving thesis statements is challenging, and like any other writing skill, it takes practice. In this tutorial, we'll introduce you to some of the definitions and qualities of a good thesis. We'll also offer some tools you can use to develop your own. A thesis statement is the main point of an essay. One way to think of it is like a movie trailer. It commands the reader's attention and offers the reader a preview of what you are going to argue, prove, or explore in your essay. Another way to think about it is that your essay is going to build a case to prove or support your thesis statement. In college, your professors are probably going to want your thesis statement to be explicit, that is, clearly stated in 1 or 2 sentences near the beginning of your essay. A common place for a thesis statement to appear in college papers is at the end of the first paragraph of your paper. A thesis statement is not just a statement about the topic.
Global warming.
It includes a topic as well as an assertion about the topic.
Global warming has influenced the fashion industry in both design and marketing.
A thesis statement is not a purpose statement, although some disciplines use those too.
The purpose of this paper is to show that watching TV makes you smarter. In this essay, I will explore the trials and tribulations of Britney Spears' life.
Beyond the nitty-gritty of the definition of what a thesis is and what it does is the issue of what it is like. A good academic thesis needs to do more than just introduce your ideas about a topic. We've come up with an acronym to help you remember and test your thesis statements for these important qualities: focus, assertion, complexity, and tension. A good thesis statement should have a narrow enough focus that your essay can sufficiently explain, explore, or prove it. A seeming paradox of good writing is that often the more narrow the focus, the more you'll be able to say about the topic. The reason being that if you choose a very broad topic, you'll only be able to skim the surface, never getting deeply into the analysis or explanation of it.
Global warming is a big problem.
If this statement were at the helm, your reader wouldn't be sure what was coming, and the writer might have a difficult time knowing where to go next. A more specific statement helps define your parameters and prepare your readers.
Global warming is a particular threat to the tourist industry on the northern coast of Oregon.
Although it is always a good idea to use questions as tools to figure out what you want to write about, and it is occasionally okay to use a question as your thesis statement, it is recommended that your thesis statement be an assertion or answer to a question. For instance, instead of,
how do online degrees stack up against traditional face-to-face degree programs?
You could assert that
online degree programs offer many benefits to the convenience of the student, but ultimately damage the integrity of the bachelor's degree.
You may have learned about thesis statements in the context of the 5-paragraph essay, in which your thesis statement makes a fairly simple assertion about something.
Rising rates in childhood obesity are caused by increased access to junk food, cuts to physical education programs, and too much time spent playing video games.
In college, your professors are going to want you to move beyond the obvious.
Reading makes you smarter.
If you think about the analogy we used before, that your thesis is a movie trailer, you aren't going to get your reader's attention if you're just telling them something they already know, have heard before, or could have figured out themselves. A more complex thesis looks at relationships, such as the relationship between reading and the internet.
Though much attention has been paid to the decline in reading books, thanks to the internet, literacy rates are going up at the same time that literacy is being redefined.
Another common thesis statement explores a relationship that isn't apparent at first glance.
Marriage is receiving a 21st century makeover as two powerful forces, conservatives and the wedding industry, work in tandem to establish new and revitalized motivations for an age-old custom.
As is true in any decent movie, a critical ingredient in a good academic essay is a sense of tension or conflict. Someone reading your thesis statement should be able to argue with it, or it should capture an argument that exists about the topic. Many good thesis statements focus on a paradox or seeming contradiction.
Although teens today are more exposed to explicit sexual material on television, in music videos, and have easy access to pornography online, recent movies targeting teens, such as Twilight, reflect a return to traditional values among the 13 to 20 age group. Common arguments against gay marriage are that it threatens the integrity of the institution and damages children psychologically. However, a ban on same-sex marriage not only weakens the institution of marriage, it also emotionally damages the very children the ban attempts to protect.